Hey, everyone. Hope you're having a great day as always. Now, today we're going to talk about the portfolio update. Yep, I'm going to show you the moves that I made. We're going to talk about the market, what's to expect, what's to be expected, and also we're going to update a little bit on Sofi, right? The bullish thesis on Sofi, because we recently actually sort of ended our face-off Friday and financials week for Sofi for 2 weeks. We actually talked a lot in depth about them. We built a buy plan, we strategized together, and we had a lot of fun, right? We had a lot of fun, which is amazing, which is the most important. But you know the drill, guys. Before we begin, appreciate if you guys can actually smash that like button. Yep, smash that heart button. If you're here watching, the live, click hashtag live. Yep. If you're watching on replay, click hashtag replay so I know you're there. For those of you that have been pressing hashtag replay all the way, I hopefully you can any questions that you want to ask, yep, please go ahead, put in the chats. I'll be there with you and I'll be answering your questions. I mean, the purpose of this whole thing is that we want to go. The purpose of me going live is, other than sharing and what we have done, is to actually interact with you guys. So make use of this live. I can actually answer them, on the spot. If you have anything on me for me, or you want to ask me anything, you want to go through a company that you need to build a thesis on, no problem, right? This is the purpose of this live. So let me see. Let me share my screen right now. And I will share. There we go. So I made a video recently and it's called High Quality Growth Stock, right? So I just want to repeat about what I said there. And if you haven't, please check out the video, right? Subscribe if you haven't, and smash that like button so that you can spread the algos, right? So in that YouTube video, basically, I mentioned on my purchase on Coinbase, right? Now, remember that this portfolio, we can be as flexible as possible. I know I know we should all have long-term plays, but remember, I was looking at the market environment, looking at how the market is, talking about my full-time. I'm being a full-time investor. I have time. That's the flexibility in order to actually spend more time in the market and look at moves, look at price action, so that I can actually combine. I'm very active in the market, right? So I can combine short-term moves, long-term moves, and whatnot. Yeah. Now, what I'm showing here is actually, so I want to be as transparent as possible, obviously, and I want to show all the moves that we made in this account. So far, touch wood, everything's been going great so far, right? Hopefully this continues in. We're just 2 weeks into the year, and there's so many sort of like the market and the media is actually like throwing jabs at us. Like, not even a jab, is probably like a low blow in a way, right? Because remember, if you guys have been sort of following up on what I personally think about the market this year, I said that it's going to be rocky. It's going to be a gloomy year, right? So that being said, with that macro sort of view in mind, what I thought was, okay, I need to be more flexible with the cash that I have. I want to be raising cash. I will be working hard in my 9 to 5 so that I can actually pump it into this account. So the moves that I made on that high quality growth stock Coinbase was that I actually took profits. Okay. Now you're probably thinking, hey, wait, why the heck, Warren? You're telling me about long term. You're telling me about this. Remember, when I said what I said in the video is that it could potentially be a trade, right? It could potentially be a trade. And I was actually very fortunate that I took it as a trade, because after CPI results came out, I sold, right? So I always preach that before you buy any stock, what is your original plan for the stock? Are you going to hold it for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever, right? I still stick to the case that Coinbase is a stock that I will be willing to hold if I was, if my initial feeler position, if you want to call it, was there. Yep. That's because, and I gave it on YouTube. Check it out on YouTube, right? We talked about the net income. We talked about their revenues. We talked about their business model. We talked about a majority of the traders are actually institutions. Now that is insane. So I built my thesis on Coinbase, not just that, not, it's just not to like a refined, detailed level. But what I'm trying to tell you guys is that do not underestimate Coinbase, right? You can be a long-term position, but the thesis was that it was oversold. And I mean, one of the things also is that I get I mean, managing accounts, you can get a little pressure, right? So why do I say that? Because you want to perform and and it's literally to public, right? So it's literally to public, and I have to be accountable, I have to be responsible. So far so good. Okay, so far so good. So now I want to show you guys Coinbase here, and let's see, Coinbase, it's above, sorry, Coinbase, there we go. So I'm going to open the charts here. Now the thesis, again, I'm going to repeat what I said in YouTube, is that it's an oversold position, right? Imagine we have suffered for 2 months, and that's the same as fintech. That's the same as all the technology growth stocks. But the beauty is, like, I mean, I want a cushion as to, the market trying to understand what's going to happen. Now, the market is ruthless. They don't care. You're earning net income. You got strong balance sheet. They don't give a crap. They're just going to punish you, right? Punish these type of stocks. But I mean, when I look at the charts, and that's why sometimes we have to look at charts in order to have an entry. Now, I don't look at stock price when I want to buy based on fundamentals, right? But I want to combine FATA, FATA. Now, when I look at oversold position, I look at earnings. So here's a catalyst for, like, here's another catalyst that the market might go up, is that earnings week is coming. For certain companies, earnings week will be the end of the month, or February or March, right? Within these 3 months. But earnings season, sorry, I would call it earnings season, is coming. So this might be a catalyst that, the market is moving up after a huge sell-off. So on that basis, it's coming on 11th February. I thought that, okay, it will be it. I thought that it would be having like a decent trend moving into earnings, but it didn't. I mean, it's yet to be seen. But suddenly CPI came out, 7%. That's insane. So I thought, okay, CPI 7% is going to rock the markets again. Might as well take profits now. I gained 5% on my investment. So what I did was I bought with I gained 44 bucks. It used to be 50. I could have gained 60, but when I see the market, I didn't sell on the high, because I didn't know when is the high. So I took profits on 44.90 on Coinbase. So, here so far is my realized profits. Yep. So far I got Coinbase and Himax, right? Profiting 193 on a $3,000 account is around, let me just work out my maths. Yeah. It's around 6% capital profit. 6% is not too bad, right? 6%. If I sold everything at the peak before the CPI result, I would have gotten 13%. Which, it's not too bad for 2 weeks work. But again, I said that, I'm not going to sell Tesla. I'm not going to sell Sofi. So, that's my portfolio update so far, right? Now, I want to also update what I'm holding, which is on the down. Okay. Because I bought, well, I mean, it's not changed. I still have, sorry, this is my other account. I still have Tesla. I still have Sofi, but there's a new entry while I was buying Coinbase, and that's LC. Okay. Now it's the same concept. LC fintech overall is in oversold position. And the candles that actually tell me that, okay, it's actually decent to buy. But when CPI came out, okay, the market's panicked and, obviously it went down. Now, my average price is actually quite high if we look at how it is. But overall, if we are looking at LC, again, it's a way oversold position, in my opinion. Furthermore, their earnings is coming in 2 weeks. Now, I'm going to hold this until earnings, right? Why? So I'm going to touch a little bit about LC and, if I have time, Sofi. Now, based on the last Q3 of LC, they expect to generate revenue 215M to 230M on originations of 2.8 to 3B. Okay. Okay, sorry. So what does LC do? LC is basically similar to SoFi in a way, but different revenue segment. So what they do is that, okay, they package loans and they sell it to institutions. Yep, it's as simple as that. They package their loans because securitizations and they sell it to institutions, which represents 80% of their revenues, what they call marketplace revenue, right? So if you dig into the 10K or dig into the 10Q, they will actually have what's called marketplace revenue. Now, 20% of their other revenue is actually from lending, right? And they focus on personal loans. Their sort of loans are actually focused on personal loans. They are venturing into auto loans and whatnot, right? So that's the gist. They want to be a bank, but it's not like they don't have like A to Z platform like SoFi, right? Now that's what they do. And this is a company that raised guidance. So if we look at the charts, when they raised guidance after the recent Q3 earnings, the stock price jumped like crazy, mad, from 34 to 47. Now, obviously, that was also like the fintech hype, but no, the fintech hype was on, no, it wasn't on July. Yeah, I remember it was third quarter. So after that, stock prices tanked because of inflation news, CPI, interest rates, blah, blah, blah. The whole 2 months, right? November, December, we're on to January. Now that's where I personally think it's an oversold position. I mean, LC's market cap is only 3 billion. It's insane. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Let me check that out now. 2.4 billion. That's how insane it is. Now, I personally think that LC will, meet guidance because they raise guidance. They'll definitely meet them, in my opinion. So I'm in the sort of fata, trade idea that, okay, they're going to beat earnings. It's oversold. TA proves it there for me to hold, not to cut yet. So I'm going to hold all the way and see how things play out. And furthermore, it's just like a 500, bucks position for this so I bought at 19. I remember it was 500. Yeah, it was $500, which is, at that time, 16% of the portfolio. It's not too bad, right? It's not too bad. So I can live with, I can stomach this, this unrealized loss. I just want to see how things play out. I'm still in the thesis that it's going to be a rocky market in this first year, or half of the year, because people are still getting used to, interest rates. They're still going to get used to inflation. They're still going to get used to Fed tapering. And I did mention this before. First half of the year, I have a thesis that based on everything is that people are just going to get familiarized, and based on S&P 500 seasonality, it proves the point. So I'm going to stick with that. That's going to be rocky. And that's where I'm going to adopt that in and out more, right? But I'm willing to hold because I've done my fundamental homework, and hopefully, markets are kind to me, right? But that being said, also, I want to highlight that I added 500 USD of my own money. Okay, why is it always going here? So I added 500 USD on my own money. Yeah. Because as promised, every month I will, put in money because I want to adopt the behavior. Like imagine, guys, I'm putting myself in the position that, hey, I have 10,000 USD as net worth. I'm putting 30% allocation into this account. I'm still working hard on my side hustles on my 9 to 5. So I want to let you guys know, okay, this is a small account that we start off with. Hopefully we can grow it, but it will, in it to be able to grow it will also be contributing to, the monthly portfolio, right? I'm working hard. I save it. I preach earning money, saving money, investing, reinvesting. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, because over the year, for the whole year, I would be having hopefully contributed close to 6,000, USD, right? Hopefully, because it's from 300 to 500, right? So yeah, that's the purpose, right? I want to share that. And to be frank, like if I see further dips and if I keep on putting money inside where the equity cash is actually balanced, I will dip more into Tesla on weakness, right? Because this is my highest conviction stock. So SoFi. SoFi is at crazy, insane, levels right now that I deem it's very decent to buy. But I'm just gonna hold my horses until the when is SoFi's earnings though? Let's see. I think it was in March. Yeah, it's beginning of March. So I don't know. It's the same thing as LC. I foresee a blowout in earnings. So I'm gonna stick to my thesis. But I've also done my homework, and we recently finished, our Face Off Fridays and Financials Week. We built conviction valuations on SoFi. It's insane. It's insane. Like I'm been working on my 5-year plan. So whenever there's a huge dip, I'll be buying in, right? I'll be buying in. So far, it's like a 10% unrealized loss currently for this counter, but I'm still fine. I mean, if it dips 30%, I'm going to be adding more. That's how crazy it is, right? So yeah, this is the update. Now I'm going to check if you guys said anything. Okay, so no one. Yeah. Anyway, again, if you're watching this live right now, click hashtag live, right? So that I know you're here. And if there's anything you want to ask me, go ahead. But this is the current update for the portfolio. I will still constantly, but find deals. I'm still looking at Himax is still within my, my range of a company that I want to buy and go in because I already built a thesis on it. I'm still looking for entry. PayPal, I'm looking at PayPal. I'm looking at a firm, to be frank. I'm looking at firm. I'm not really looking at open door. I wanna invest in, like, I want to trade pullbacks, right? If I see a pullback and if I see follow through day FTD, then I'll buy. Yep, I would buy these sort of stocks. Okay, so a little bit about SoFi as promised. Now, yeah, so we're done with this. So let's talk about SoFi. Why am I bullish on SoFi for the long run? Yep. So I'm gonna give a little like snapshots and a little bullish thesis on SoFi. So at the end of the day, SoFi is a bank, right? It's a bank, and because if we look at their website, we can actually see, preparing live stream. Preparing live stream. Are you guys there? Because in my screen it says preparing live stream, which I'm not sure why it is. Okay, sorry. In my screen it says preparing live stream, and it's still stuck. So I'm not sure if you guys are still listening to me right now, or but I'll still continue. Yeah. Okay, so a little bit about SoFi. In the end of the day, they want to be a bank, right? They want to be a bank. They have SoFi Invest, personal loans, student loan refi, SoFi Money, home loans, credit card, private student loans, insurance, whatnot, right? So end of the day, if we see what they want to become, sorry, we are listening. Oh, okay, great, awesome, man. Rajek, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for commenting. Sorry, you're listening. Sorry about that. This, I don't know, Facebook, something wrong. Now, when we talk about SoFi, end of the day, they want to be a bank, and we should look at them as such. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because in a high interest rate environment, what companies will benefit? Banks, financials. Legacy banks are going to benefit, but banks overall, they're going to benefit. Now, we also have to understand the profitability per product, right? So, I mean, rule of thumb for bankers is that mortgage, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Whoever is listening to this and is within the industry of finance or in, mortgage or loans, please correct me if I'm wrong. But as I understand, mortgage loans are not that profitable because it actually benefits the consumer, not really the bank, right? It's more of a product that will keep upselling for other products because of rates and whatnot. But we have to see the profitability per product. But overall, if interest rates go up, then banks are going to benefit, right? And this will also work if/when they get a bank charter. Now, the deadline for the bank charter for SoFi is on April 20 this year. Okay, April. We're already on January, and I thought that it would come earlier than sooner. But there was this news that I shared. Well, I didn't share in the group. Sorry, I will share it. I shared it in Jeremy's private Discord, right? But there's news that they actually they already took back. There was actually a lawsuit on uh to OCC that why are you giving fintech companies, like, making it easy for them to apply for a bank charter, right? So they withdrew that. So they withdrew that. Okay, I'm gonna post it in the group later on, but they withdrew that, right? They withdrew it. So that's furthermore catalyst, and maybe that's the reason why OCC is actually pending. Now, I see a lot of people actually messaging investor relations on SoFi, and they're actually asking, so how's the status of the bank charter? And they're saying that they're still going to they cannot release everything because it's not officially approved. But with that lawsuit actually pulling out, yeah, I got, again, I'm very bullish, right? I'm very bullish. Now, so just to summarize on why am I bullish on SoFi and what we discussed in the financial week is that, number one, they are essentially like a bank, but neo banking, digital banking, and they have a sexy product ahead of them, in my opinion, right? So 2.5 million members. This company was founded since 2011, if I'm not mistaken, but their new financial service products were just founded in 2019. So it's basically 2 years of progress, being like a full suite of what they call financial services productivity loop, FSPL. 2 years. 2 years time, I see flywheel, I see momentum. 2.5 million members, and close to 3 already, right? Close to 3. If we end full financial year 2021, I'm very confident they're going to reach 3 million. Okay. Now they got 3 million members, 4 million in products. Yep. Their revenue, if they achieve and meet their guidance that they raised, they're going to have full year 2021 financial year revenues higher 76% compared to 2020. LC, by the way, is 150%, right? So LC, if they meet guidance, 150%. SoFi, 76%. That's my other bullish reason. Yeah, I think that they're gonna blow out, right, earnings and beat it. I think they have 5 consecutive quarters of adjusted EBITDA positive. Okay, which is essentially the core earnings of the company. The third thing is that as raised in the quarter 3. Yep, as mentioned in quarter 3, they're gonna be spending 70 cents on their revenues earned to reinvest back into the business, and 30 cents on bottom lines, right? So that is, and I that is already telling us that, okay, they're lower down in the S curve, they're still growing, they have a lot of room to grow. So that's one of the things. Yeah. So that's the third thing. Bank charter, obviously, catalyst. What else? There's so many things to be bullish about SoFi. The recent Q3, which was insane. Like, that was one of the best quarters that one of the best transcript that I've ever read, right? Earnings call that I've ever seen. Because every single thing is like exciting. Every single thing is like, holy crap, there's momentum, there's progress, there's, that they're better than where they were before, way better than Q1. So, and the CARES Act, which is basically affecting 50% of their student loan refinance revenues, which is close to 40% of their whole total revenue stream, is affected. But SoFi is saying, no, we're not affected because we can still beat earnings, because it's our revenue diversification is more into personal loans now, right? So this is testament that they can continue to blow out earnings, and it's actually work in progress that they are able to sort of diversify their revenue segments and grow, not being too reliant on student loan refi and personal loans itself. Yeah, which is good if we want to do projections, because let me just go into SoFi investor relations real quick, and I will show you what I mean. right? Rajak, I'm tempted to make entry in SoFi, but at the end, it came from Sparks and Chamath. Fundamentals and valuation is all good, but I'm hesitant to make entry. What do you think? Okay, that's a great question, bro. I'm glad you asked that. So I'm going to respond to you, brother. Now, Chamath is. I used to have my respect for Chamath, right? A huge, tons of respect for Chamath, but end of the day, I found out that this guy is like a pump and dump, right? He's been preaching Tesla. He had SoFi. He helped, open up the SPAC, and he sold his profits to go into fucking one of his other companies, Clove. Okay, now I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. Right? So he's been telling the whole public that, hey, Noto is great. He's fit for the job, and this is the future, and blah blah blah. But suddenly he sold off. Now, so I gave up my hope on Chamath, but please do not. I mean, we shouldn't base our investing decisions on one man, especially who's not operational, who know he has no stake in the company anymore. So I think that we shouldn't just base on this decision on a great fundamental company, in my opinion, right? So it all boils down to whether or not you've done your thesis on them, and that's why I'm trying to give my bullish thesis and share with you guys. But I think the fundamentals evaluation is great because, I mean, first of all, their PS ratio of 10 right now. If they achieve 1 billion in full revenues financial year 2021, as per their guidance, they'll have 1B in revenues, and current market cap is at 10B. They'll put them at a PS ratio of 10. That's number one. Okay. If we work out earnings multiple, which I've done with the group, I expect their revenues to be 4B, right? 4 to 5B on a bullish case in 5 years' time. Yep. So working it back of the napkin, we will have to deem whether or not how much percentage net income profit they can actually generate. Yep. And I think they can reach 20 to 25% with a bank charter. Okay. So 4B, let's say 20%. I'll bring up my calculator here. 4 times 20% is at 800 mil, right? So 800 mil, if we want to peg a decent PE ratio on this growth company that still has room to grow, right? Their biggest obstacle will be convincing and gaining market share from legacy banks, because at the end of the day, SoFi is still a bank, right? So if we peg a decent PE ratio, which I think 30 is decent, that would put them at a 24 billion market cap. Now, 30 to me is low. They're still growing, in my opinion. They're still growing. I would peg a 50, but I don't want to be too bullish now, right? And again, this is not financial advice. Please do your own duty. But 24 billion at a very, very achievable goal versus 10 billion today. Now, that's a buy plan right there. That is why I'm so confident to be piling on the dips. Yep. So I want to show you guys this before I begin, before I end this call. So you got the SoFi presentation. Okay, so this is the first presentation in 2021 that they gave to investors to show, right? And I want to show you guys their own projections. Yep. So what do I mean by testament that they can actually diversify their revenues is that in 2020 and 2021, they projected, right? 2021, right? They projected 980 in adjusted net revenues, but in Q3 alone, they have already reached 700, 600 plus to 700. Okay. That's why their guidance is to have 245. Oh no, I think it's 270-ish. That would be 1 billion in full year, financial year 2021. Yep, like we mentioned, which is already 20 million more than their original guidance. Okay. But why am I showing you this? Is because we need to logically ask ourselves whether 1.5 the next year and the following years, this revenue growth is achievable with what we know right now. Yeah. So Galileo, lending products, and financial services, which is their end game, they plan to diversify revenue streams in that way. And looking at their FS, progress, they quadrupled in progress. Will they quadruple? Because their figure is still small, right? 44M. Will they continue to quadruple and slow down later on with everything that they can offer? Now, how are they actually bringing in the funnel? Top of the funnel, Sofi Money, right? They make you open an account, right, with them, and they earn money obviously on transactions. Now, with that, they have data to say, okay, I know how much you have in the bank right now. I will be, using that money. I mean, we will tell you to use that money to grow it because our mission is to make you financially better. You see what I'm getting at? So the top of the funnel, they can't control the money. They're actually telling people to, hey, why not you use that money for something else? You go invest and you get 2% off, 2% off your credit cards on cashbacks. You can use that 2% to buy crypto, to invest, which is actually within that funnel of using that same product with that ecosystem. So why am I investing in SoFi is can be summarized in a few things. Number one, their ecosystem is sexy as hell. Their ability with all like A to Z products, what they call FSPL, is a loop where people are still continuing to be buying and selling and cross-buying within that whole ecosystem, right? And like I said, top of the funnel, SoFi Money, opening an account, they got data to tell you, hey, why not put your money into this? And if you do that, we will reward you with cash. The cash you can withdraw or you can use that to invest. So they still want you to be within that ecosystem and drive off, money from there. Yeah. So that's number one, a sexy ecosystem to be able to cross buy. Number two, Galileo, they are vertically integrated, right? They basically have, another revenue stream. But what Galileo does is that they empower other companies to be a fintech company. They give APIs on transactions, especially on, it's more of like financial services, right? Basically giving you APIs. And one of the clients is Robinhood, right? Robinhood and other TransferWise, big clients. So they have like, I think a total of 20, I forgot the figure. I think it's like 30 accounts and close to 80 million, 30 clients and 80 million accounts. Yeah. So their plan is to actually upsell within that 80 million account to say, okay, you are a client. Why not use our FSP products, right? You can use SoFi Money, right? Other than Robinhood, why not use, why not come apply a credit card with us? So that easy funnel will lead on again to that loop. Yeah. So that's number two. Number three is if we look at the numbers and we look at valuation, I think that this is very decent. I think that is testament that they're branching away from their lending revenues in order to go more into, FS revenues, financial services, which is at the end of the day, their game plan. With a bank charter, they can now use people's money, right? Hopefully, fingers crossed. They can use people's deposits to be actually funding loans. So their money is practically free. Yep, their money is practically free. That means they can get higher margins and whatnot, right? So that's my other point. And obviously, bank charter is a catalyst. Now, if we look at valuation, which is the end game, I think there can be a 50B company in 5 years with the projections that I've done, logically and realistically. Now, my question to you guys is, what have you done? Have you guys done your thesis? Have you guys done your valuations? Right? So, I want to end this call today, end this live and conclude that, okay, we talked about a little bit about the market. We talked a little bit about our moves, my personal moves, what I've done. So far, so good. Hopefully it can remain all the way until, the whole year. We talked about SoFi and my bullish thesis. Hopefully you guys have done yours and, invest safe. Yep. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.